Hey everyone, this is 43 Alley, and this is my story of how I broke free from religion. And it starts when I was a boy. I grew up in rural Appalachia in the South, where you can't drive 2 blocks without coming across 2 or 3 churches. Now, I had teachers push evolution to the end of the curriculum and then not teach it when there wasn't time at the end of the semester. In elementary school, which was a public school, we had missionaries once a week, which meant that this 90-year-old woman came in and she played church songs and told Bible stories for an hour. The only student who didn't have to go was the only Catholic student who went to my school. And all the other Baptists said, "She's going to hell." I always knew in the back of my mind, something wasn't right about that. There were all these other denominations out there, and they all thought the other ones were going to hell. So what did that mean for somebody who worshiped a different God? Now look, I like my pediatrician, but what did that mean for him? I didn't want to think about it. You know, it's a lot like Santa Claus. I remember one weekend driving with my dad to deliver a bunch of baseball equipment to about 10 or 15 different houses. My dad was Little League president, and we got him this shipment of bats and gloves and balls and something for all these different coaches and teams. And as we were driving around, I remember him saying, "We're like Santa Claus, delivering presents." And I thought, wow, you know, we're only taking stuff to 10 houses and it's taking all day. And then I thought, wait a minute, wait. I have 30 kids in my class. There are 2 other classes in my grade. That's 90 houses. There's other grades in my school. There's other schools, other counties, states, countries, continents. Dad, how does Santa get gifts to billions of kids in one night? "Magic," he said. And then I thought more about it. How is it possible to hold all those toys in that one single sleigh? I mean, Toys R Us needs a whole building, and that's just toys for my town. Why does Santa Claus not get the poor kids very much? But then, see, I get back to school, and all the other kids who believed in Santa Claus, they reinforce the fact that he does exist. And because a lot of other kids believed it, hey, it must be true. And then as I got older, the religious stuff started to bother me. Why is religion geographical? You can point to a country on the map, and you know right away what their religion is. It seemed to me that if the universe is so frickin' big, and there's one God who did it all, and he's got this one little favorite speck of dust that's floating out there in one little minuscule galaxy, you'd think that they would all follow him. And then there's dinosaurs. They're around for hundreds of millions of years. There's no dinosaurs in the Bible, not one. Yeah, I know, in the book of Job, there's a behemoth and a leviathan, but if you have half a brain and you read that, you know they're talking about a hippopotamus and an alligator. Look, dinosaurs ruled the earth for millions, hundreds of millions of years. There should be 5 dinosaurs per page in the Bible. And if you don't want to call them dinosaurs, then you should call them something else and describe specifically what these things are. Plus, there's 65 million years between the last living dinosaur and the first living human. 65 million years. That's a lot. The Bible says the earth is 6,000 years old. That's wrong. 6,000 has happened 766,666 times. Why is the God in the Old Testament such a prick? Why did people back then have to sacrifice bulls? Why does everybody think Noah's Ark such a great story? Okay, Santa's sleigh again. How could all those animals fit into one ark? Now remember, I'm an 8-year-old thinking this, and it's not just, my brain just can't accept it. I remember asking my grandma if Noah had 2 bears, or if he had 2 grizzly bears, 2 polar bears, 2 Kodiak bears, 2 Gobi bears, panda bears, sun bears, brown bears, Kermode bears, black bears, spectacle bears, sloth bears, Tibetan blue bears. It was God's magic. We're back to magic again. It seems to me, for the rest of my young life, every time I had a question about religion, I got the magic answer. So I slipped into the mindset that maybe stuff in the Bible were just morality tales. See, that's a slippery slope. That made me ask, well, if that's not true, then what else isn't true? So I went from calling myself a Baptist to a standard Protestant. Then I was non-denominational. And then I said, I'm not into the whole organized religion thing, but I'm very spiritual. By the end of university, I was calling myself agnostic. You still couldn't use the A word back then. I think the thing that actually did it for me was just taking the time and sitting down and thinking about the concept of hell. It is the most grotesque, insulting, mind-numbing, ridiculous concept that anybody could ever come up with. But there's this place, okay? If you don't follow a certain rule or pray a certain way to a certain God in a certain manner and say certain things, that you go there forever and you burn in pain and agony for eternity. Now, meanwhile, your friends and your family, they may be there with you, but you won't know it. Or they may have done the right things, and they'll be in heaven. Okay? But what if I did the right things, and my wife and my kids, they didn't, and they end up in hell? How am I supposed to enjoy eternity if I know that every second of infinity, my wife and my kids are on fire and being tortured by demons? How could I enjoy eternity knowing that anyone is being tortured forever? Have you ever noticed hell's not in the Old Testament? Gentle Jesus, meek and mild, shows up, and it's then and there we are threatened with eternal suffering. WWJD indeed. So I look back on the whole concept of religion. I knew I was already an atheist about Allah. I know I didn't believe in Shiva and Ganesh and all the other Hindu gods. Zeus, Poseidon, Thor, Ra, they no longer had millions of followers. Those gods had long since gone to that mass graveyard we call mythology. So I just went one God more. And I got to tell you, it was a great feeling. But it wasn't a change that came overnight. It was just little bits and pieces that happened over the course of several years. And I am a totally happy person. I'm a totally moral person. I've got a great family. I've got a great job. I can do these videos for one thing every once in a while. I donate to charities. I push my shopping carts back where they're supposed to go in parking lots. And I don't live my life worrying about what's going to come next. That's probably the best thing that came out of all this. I can enjoy the here and the now. Every moment's great. The universe is going to continue on for billions and billions of years. I only get to be here a very small part of that. And that is great. I am so lucky to be here. And I look back on my childhood with a smile. And I still, every once in a while, read the Bible. I'm actually pretty daggone familiar with it. I just look at it as a history book and written by men who are trying to figure out their place in the world. Not as a guide how to live, not as the end-all and be-all of human existence. It's a book. And it goes on the shelf with other books.